What's good, Cypher fam? Thank you for allowing me to do this tonight. Um, you know, so it bums me out that we won't be able to see each other tomorrow, but we'll definitely get back to it on Tuesday. I want to just kind of provide this class online. So to get it started, to really prepare ourselves for today's lessons around hashtag always a student, I want to just kind of provide a few announcements. I'm going to go ahead and share my my page here. I sent a couple things through announcement. The first one, it is a bonus track opportunity. Today, Thursday, there will be a visual film screening that's happening on 11:30 to 1:30 p.m. The details are is in the announcement. Definitely, if you want to be part of this event, go ahead and sign up for free on this registration page. If you're going to attend, please, if you want to earn 10 bonus tracks, post a picture of the event on our Cypher Instagram page. In the post, respond to the questions. What is one thing you learned from this film screening? And secondly, why is mental health important to you? Make sure you sign off with your name so you can earn credit for the post. All right. So this is called Movies for Mental Health. That's happening today at 11:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. All right. And then secondly, I posted up a support for peer mentoring. This is coming from the retention specialist out of the Learning Center, Raymond Gutierrez. Great information about how do you receive support um, in Skyline. And what I love about it is actually current students from Skyline College. So they'll be able to talk to you about resources, how to adjust to online classes, how to be supportive. Just kind of building a community with other peers. And this might be a great opportunity for folks that are interested in this kind of field in like psychology or teaching to understand like what it's like to be a peer mentor. So you can kind of see the different benefits of what it means to be a peer mentor. If you want to get connected, there's the form. So check it out, right? When we talk about college success, part of being a successful college student is to be able to take advantage of the different programs and services that we have on campus, even if it's virtual. All right. So, so I want to get started with our class today. I titled it hashtag always a student. And really what I wanted to do is kind of like piggyback off the conversation that we have around education versus school. And I want to say it was probably Mia, I forget. Someone had mentioned about this idea of schools being a physical space, but the education is the knowledge, right? And I think many other students were also alluding to that same kind of ideology between what is education and what is school. And so, what I wanted to do is, as a student, really break down learning versus studying, right? Because, all throughout your educational life, you've been shared and told that you have to learn these things or you have to study this or study that. And so, what does that mean? And I wanted to be able to kind of have you guys reflect on it and really unpack the meaning behind learning versus studying. And so, when we think about learning, learning really tends to have a more positive response, right? You want to learn how to play basketball, or you want to learn how to make beats, or you want to learn how to make that dope dessert that you saw on Instagram, right? I mean, learning is something I feel like is a could be very much of choice because this is something that you want to learn about, right? So it tends to have a much more positive response than, say, studying. When we think about studying, you could probably think in your mind, when I hear the word study, what is the first thing you could think of, right? So I want you to think about that. When you hear the word study, what's the first thing that comes to mind? And I bet you someone might be thinking right now, oh, it feels like a chore, like it's negative, that I just don't want to do it, that it's like so much work, right? And you're probably thinking that right now, and so very similar to the discussion about school versus education, studying doesn't necessarily have that same effect as in learning, right? And so, so studying has this negative concept, which then kind of leads to a different behavior, right? When we think about actions turn into behaviors, when we think of something that's something that we don't want to do, sometimes it just kind of manifests as something that doesn't work or doesn't feel like something that we want to do. And studying sometimes comes as part of that list of things that we don't like doing. And that's just a general statement. I'm not saying that every student have that same feelings around studying, because I do know there are some students that love studying. But for the most part, generally, studying is something that people don't really get excited about, right? And y'all had the opportunity to listen to Dead Prez called "They Schools," and I chose that song because it really kind of dissects a little bit about our understanding of studying and learning, and even the state of education. I mean, this song came out of what, 1997, and so in 1997, that's twenty years ago or so. So it's still relevant to today, right? And one of my favorite verses of Dead Prez goes like this: School is like a 12-step brainwash camp. They make you think if you drop out, you ain't got a chance. To advance in life, they try to make you pull your pants up. Students fight the teachers and get took away in handcuffs. And if that wasn't enough, then they expel y'all. Your people's understanding, but them to you a failure. Observation and participation, my favorite teachers. When they beat us in the head with them books, it don't reach us, right? And so, in one sense, education has this idea of how to learn, but it doesn't really apply to all students, right? And so, oftentimes, we get left on the margins and not succeed in school because education is different to many people. And so, what I wanted to do is reframe the discussion around what is studying. And Paulo Freire quotes, "To study is a revolutionary act." And Paulo Freire, who is a world renowned Brazilian philosopher and educator who wrote the famous book called Pedagogy of the Oppressed, came up with this idea called critical pedagogy, right? And really, what it was intended to showcase is that we can use teaching and we could use education to combat racism, sexism, capitalism, anything that is oppressing communities of color, right? How do we begin to use education to lift us up, to give power for us, to us? He also said that education does not transform the world. Education changes people. People changes the world. And I want to share a couple slides with y'all in terms of the educational philosophy that some of your classmates have wrote, and I was like kind of blown away. So I wanted to share that with you. Um, Here we go. So from Cameron Young, he talks about education definitely helps if you have a specific goal in mind. But just because you're book smart doesn't mean you'll be able to go out there in the real world and be able to do everything you think you can, right? And then I believe Vaughn says, you know, if you're feeling down and not motivated enough, it's like a car. You can't move forward unless you press on that gas. So what I'm really trying to say is that press that gas and keep on moving forward. And I think, these educational philosophies that your classmates wrote really addresses what Paulo Freire was talking about, right? Education doesn't transform the world. Education changes people. People change the world, right? And so what you're trying to do is take in your education and how are you utilizing that education to progress in your own life and to get closer to your own goals, right? We have certain choices and decisions that we make, right? But we got to be motivated, which is why that educational philosophy was so important. Like I said, when we think about philosophies, these set of beliefs, thoughts, and ideas that really instruct how you operate and how you do things, how you live your life. right? So when we think about philosophy, what is your philosophy that's going to guide you towards your education? So when we go back to that statement, to study is a revolutionary act, what does that all mean, right? Because when you think about it, the insights around the narrative of learning and studying really comes down to this. Studying is a means to an end. So the more you study, the more closer you get to it, right? They're saying the more you get to study, the more you're going to achieve and acquire your goals, right? So there's this sort of end point, right? Studying is a burden. That's a general narrative that we have around studying. Like studying is a lot of work, to get to a particular goal. Why should I even study? Why is it important to study in a topic that I'm not interested in, right? Studying will allow me to get my degree, right? So we've heard that before. And so what this does is what Paulo Freire was talking is trying to do in terms of studying is a revolutionary act, is really a shift in your critical consciousness, a shift in your mindset. How do we look at studying in a different way, right? And so this is a real shift away from an individual act, right? Much more extrinsic, meaning that if I study and I get this in return, to a revolutionary duty, right? Something that's much more meaningful, purposeful, that education and my learning and my studying is much bigger than me. What am I doing it for? And so Paulo Freire talks about how do we move from learn to earn to learn for freedom. And so what I have up here for y'all during this time today is that I want you guys to engage in this discussion forum and answer the questions. What do you think Paulo Freire means to learn for freedom? And then how does this connect to college success, right? So when we look at that, let's go on to discussions and I'm gonna share the page with you. So learn for freedom. So go to the discussion, learn for freedom, and essentially answer these two questions in your post. What does it mean by learning for freedom? How does this philosophy around learning and studying connect to college success? So you'll click on reply, and then you're going to type in your response, right? In addition to posting your responses, please comment on at least 2 of your classmates' posts, right? Whether you agree with this person, whether you learn something new, whether you appreciate something that your classmate had post, comment on it, post your responses to it. So this discussion forum is worth 10 points. This forum will close today at 5 p.m. today, so make sure you get your posts in. I highly recommend that, because we're not in class today from 9:45 to 11, to use that time to really engage in this discussion forum, right? So that's your discussion forum. So I hope that through this quick video that I allowed you to begin to think about how do I look at studying in college, right? Do I look at it in a negative way in which the dominant narrative have shared me? Or am I going to reframe it and look at studying in a different way, right? Studying it in a way that looks at a revolutionary act, that me studying is for something bigger, okay? So again, knock that discussion forum out. For your homework, I'm going to share you the homework page here. Oh, there it is. I am sharing the page. Where I'm from, poem and rap. So where I'm from, poem and rap, I want to make sure that you turn this in by Tuesday, September 1st. Basically, what you want to do is create a poem or rap that follows the structure listed below. But even though I have this structure here, you can choose any structure or delivery as long as you respond to the following lines below. Because on Tuesday, we're going to be doing a workshop called Dropping Gems. And GEMS, GEMS, is a acronym titled Growing and Enriching Minds Through Storytelling, right? And so this is our opportunity to know who you are, where you're from, because I think that's a big piece of really community building and really understanding who you are as a person situated here in this class. So you can submit this as a text entry, or you can record yourself as an audio or video file. When you get to the point where you're ready to submit, you'll see a green button. It's going to ask you, would you like to submit it as a text, media recording, or a file upload? So you have different options of how you want to submit that particular assignment. I gave you sort of an example here from an author by Aretha Story, and so she has her poem here. But this is the structure. It's very easy. Just follow along and have fun with it. You know, go back in time, remember your community, remember old memories. Let's create this poem, and this is due again on Tuesday, September 2nd. All right. So in addition to the Where I'm From poem and rap, make sure you complete your educational philosophy on Padlet. That one's due on Sunday. And please make sure to sign your name after your post, and make sure to comment to at least one classmate post. And lastly, I have posted up a course introduction quiz, and I will show you that right now. And it's on your Canvas under quizzes. And it is a quiz that is intended to really help me understand how are you navigating the Canvas, right? Can you find information regarding the course introduction, the syllabus? There are 15 questions. Each question is worth one bonus track. So whatever you get in terms of the quiz, 1 point equals 1 point equals one bonus track. If you get all 15, that's 15 bonus tracks. So definitely do that. The quiz will only be open until August 31st. I believe that's a Monday. All right. So if you want to get those 15 points in, make sure you do the quiz. This gives me an understanding, an idea of where you guys are at in terms of navigating Canvas. All right. Because I want to make sure everybody knows how to use it and where to find information. Okay. So other than that, that's really it for me. So what I'm going to do is I will be in class in the Zoom session from 9:45 to 11. For anybody that want to stop by and check in and ask questions, I'll be available there. So, you know, the room is going to be open. So yeah, but in the meantime, definitely jump on that discussion forum about learning for freedom, and then finish up your educational philosophy on Padlet and take the quiz. All right. So if you have any questions, man, hit me up on the email, send me a message on Canvas, whichever. But yeah, man, I look forward to seeing y'all on Tuesday. All right. We're going to have a great class on Tuesday. So have a great weekend, y'all. And I'll talk to you soon. All right. Peace.